All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. How is everybody doing out there? Imagine a lot of you are doing pretty good at this moment. The episode just got over with for me. Uh, I know that some countries actually got to watch this earlier, and I know they were trying to spoil things, but I think it was one of those situations where people were so happy that they were having a hard time keeping things to themselves. And in this case, I can almost understand that. But hey, things are the way they are now. So I want to just welcome everybody here. I want to say, to anybody that's new to this channel, welcome to the channel. To everybody that's been watching and subscribing, I want to thank all of you. If you're not a subscriber, please become a subscriber to the channel. We did make it to 2,000 subscribers, and I can't say enough how appreciative I am. I know that everybody says that when they say it, but I really mean it. 2,000 subscribers is maybe not a lot to some people, but it is a lot to people like me. And I bow to all of you who've been great, and especially in the comment section and all the likes and all the shares and all that stuff to get the word out about my take on this show. And going into this now, at the end of this, I can't wait. Hopefully we don't have to wait 18 months for the season 5, because as difficult as this was sometimes to watch this season, they really gave me an ending that makes me very hopeful for the season 5. And now the last, hopefully last season. So also want to bring up, we are doing our 2,000 subscriber live stream on June 30th. It'll be on a Wednesday, so be there. We're going to have a lot of fun. And also I want to know, now that the season is over, what do you guys want me to watch? I am currently going to start reviewing Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself. I think it's just Kevin Can Fuck Himself, but whatever. But let me know. Let's not end this here. What should we be talking about? What do you guys want me to talk about in this channel? Give me some good choices here so we can have some more great conversations, because I don't really know what's coming out right now. So anyway, I feel like I'm forgetting things. I probably still am. So anyway, I'm a man and I have rights. So we're going to talk about everything, but we just got to get to it. We got to get to it, right? Everybody will be talking about it anyway. Fred Waterford is dead, and he is hanging there. June got her man. She did finally put him on a wall. And of all the different ways that this was going to go, there were people saying that Fred would go back and that he'd be, in trouble. But nobody really, I don't think anybody in the comment section talked about this being all orchestrated by her. And even though there was talk about this would happen, I guess, and that she'd have to go on the lam, and that might even be kind of what goes on here. We'll see how things, at the end of this season, where will she be? Will she be? Is this the end of June's story for the most part? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I kind of don't think so, but we'll see. But her not giving up, her making sure that Fred Waterford gets what he deserves. And boy, did he get what he deserves. I'm sure that I'm not alone in feeling, this guy got what he had coming. And June's army came together to give it to him. But it wasn't just June. This was everybody. This was a group effort. And people that I was, losing faith in came to her aid when she needed it. That includes Lawrence. That includes Nick. That especially includes Mark, who had a good thing with his bosses and with this deal that he helped to make for Fred to go to Geneva and get off completely scot-fucking-free. But now, Fred's story, you know, Joseph Fiennes, is an incredible actor. And there's got to be a part of him that's happy that this is over. Because, I mean, between him and his brother, Rafe, right? They've played a couple of the worst scumbags in the entire history of film. Fred Waterford and Rafe's Voldemort, and especially the Nazi from Schindler's List. Between his two brothers, man, they have played two of the worst fucking guys you'll ever want to see on the screen, or big screen or small screen. I don't know which one is worse. I think Nazi, religious fanatic, potato, part of the same thing. I digress on that. So, yes, how do I feel about this? I actually really like this. I really liked it, and it actually restored a lot of my faith in the storytelling here. Everything did come together. Now, the journey here was kind of rough. There were that part in the middle here of this season was kind of rough for me. I have to look at it a certain way. I can't just because I love this show, it doesn't mean I can give it a free pass. And I know that I'm not the only one who called out on a lot of things. But to me, in the end product, it's like what they say in the movie adaptation. You wow them in the end, and you got yourself a hit. And they wowed me in the end. And I consider it a hit. I consider it a success. It wasn't always fun getting there, but here we are. And now I'm much more hopeful going into the 5th season. But it seems like it always pans out like that. It seems like every time I talk about this show, when we get around the middle of the season, I start to get a little like, oh, why won't this end? Then you watch episodes like this, The Wilderness, and you remember why you liked the show in the first place. And because we are going to rage a little bit again. This episode brought the rage back. Because again, I'm a man and I have rights. Whew, boy. And I finally, really feel like, like June's reaction at the end of last episode, I will kill you, it seemed a little over the top at the time for me. Not, and by that I just mean it was played a little over the top. Not that she shouldn't react this way, in a certain way. But now, like, rewatching that, I really feel how justified she is. This is an ultimate betrayal. This is saying that everything I went through meant nothing. And that he's a man who has information. And he's just going to walk. And it's disgusting. And it happens. It happens all the fucking time. People... Again, welcome to my channel. We don't just review it. We bring shit up. We talk about things because that's how we're feeling when we watch this. I'm not sitting there thinking about pacing and tone and all this all the time. I am kind of thinking about it, but once I start talking about it, those things go out the window. Because this was an incredible finale. This is probably the best finale. In my opinion. At least, and it doesn't end with the kind of questions that are left us going like, oh my God. This, I just want to go, what's next? What's going to happen with Serena Joy? So, let's get started talking about this from the very beginning. We're almost 10 minutes in. I love how it ends and begins with her talking about how it has to look like love. That's what he needs, pretend. And how it ends like that. And I knew when they were putting that together at the beginning that this was something leading to something like what we had, but I never give myself over to that, even though there were so many ways you could see where this was going. It just was a matter of how and when. I actually thought something might actually happen when she went to see him. I was like, oh shit, she actually is going to see him? Whew. I was getting ready, man. I was getting fucking ready. And, it just, this scene showing that him and her at the club when she was the Offred that he knew, that he loved. And it made me realize how much happened in the Fleece the first couple of seasons. How much shit happened. And not saying that shit didn't go down in season 3 either, but those first couple of seasons, man, were just holy crap. Now, we have this situation here where June is given the opportunity to make another statement. That Fred's about to be released, but that she gets to make a statement because maybe almost like a courtesy of like one last, this is what he did, let's be able to say. It's like when somebody makes a statement and the jury's told, to ignore it, but they've heard it, they can't exactly ignore it, they're supposed to, but you know we all know that in most TV shows when they say don't let forget about that jury, and the jury never forgets that shit. Except she's just in front of a camera. She's not allowed to do it in front of a courtroom. And I feel like that is such a disrespectful move. That it's showing how little that they've already made up their minds that this is just a courtesy. And also this way, they don't have to worry about her making a scene. And we don't even hear what she says, which I thought was interesting. And I thought maybe they'd come back to it, but they don't. And we don't need it. Because I think it would just be more of the same. Just her telling us how awful we already know Fred is. Is Fred everything you hoped for, and what value he is? I mean, she really comes at Mark in this episode after already telling him, I'm going to kill you. Mark showing up and being professional still is kind of interesting. He's not wavered. He's not afraid of it. He knows what he's done. And he feels like the kind of guy who is ashamed, but not ashamed enough to do anything about it. So still, fuck you, Mark, a little bit. All right? I know some of us are thinking it. Fuck you, Mark, a little bit. All right, buddy? Maybe some of you are thinking all the way. But now that we know what we know, I'm backing off a little bit. When she says, weak men, they do make the world go round. And I was just thinking to myself, God damn right. I know that there's a few statements in here that are very poignant and very topical. Everywhere we look now, there are these men, these weak men, these people that have a little bit of power and they run things. These awful, horrible, fucking shit stains on the world. Whether they be orange-faced fuckers or crypt keepers like McConnell, or weird-ass guys from Florida. No offense, Florida guys like Gates. Isn't he from Florida? I don't know. He acts like he's from Florida, wherever he's from. To fat fucking pieces of shit like Ted Cruz. I don't know why I said fat, but he's just a piece of shit. He looks like he should be a morning DJ in hell. I don't know. It's just that kind of, I don't know. That's a weird statement. But we have all these kind of people. And not just men. You've got your Marjorie Taylor Greens who, deserve to get into put in a catapult and flung. Maybe is that too far? Is that too far? And was that too far? Is that something that could come back to haunt me? But we have all these weak people that make decisions for us, that take away women's right to have abortions, that make decisions on how much women get paid, that do everything they can to control voting and people's rights, women's rights mostly. Because again, everything's always all good for the white men. And it continues to be so. And it's just disgusting and I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it, you guys. And this show just keeps, shining a light on these things. But when are we going to actually get some change in this country where the religious nuts and the racist fuckers and the people who just purposely keep things from happening in this country from happening, and so that people can actually get what they need instead of allowing the religious fanatics and racist twats to keep going, keep this fucking thing going. And I'll stop and start talking about the show again, because it's easy to go off on a tangent on these fucking shit heels. I'm actually surprised I'm not really going off. I feel like going off. I feel like raging right now. I mean, she tells him, you don't even have a side. She's also had to do like what she saw when she's talking at the beginning and she's with Fred, and where she had to go and pretend. And we see her several times in this episode go to where she had to go mentally when she was being raped. That when she leaves to give her statement again, she's looking up at the sky. She's like going to that place again, as if making that statement and knowing that he's still going free. She has to go somewhere else to get through it. And even though Luke here is trying to tell her that, you being here, Nicole being here, it's all a miracle. But we all know, right? He can say all the nice things, and he's great. He's a really great guy, and he does have a point. But the problem is, and we all know it, is that it's just not enough. Unfortunately, it's not enough. We know it's not enough for June, and we don't want it to be enough for June. Because I was a little on the fence, and she did do some horrible things. She did assault Luke. But what's happening now, it's not enough. There has to be consequences to the people who did these things. And in the real world, since consequences don't happen, we have shows like this that can vicariously give us some of those things. Because when I see Fred Waterford beaten to death in the woods, I vicariously can think about other people that deserve that kind of treatment in this world. And maybe that's a horrible thing to say. But let's face it, there's some people that need to get got sometimes. So Waterford's supposed to go to Geneva, and he'll be free to go anywhere. They made sure to say that statement that he's going to be gone at the end of the week 3 times, like in a pretty quick succession. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's going to be important. Something is going to happen before the end of the week. And they, Moira's like, she needs to go to Geneva, and she's like, no, he's more important than I am. And that apparently what he did to me is more, what he's giving them is more valuable than what he did to me. And that's in the trailer, that line there. And his job right now, like, what is he doing? He's tracking girls down for the government, for the Canadian government, confirming deaths of women that have been working in the brothels or handmaids or whoever. And this is where we get Serena. Oh boy. Serena's a real see you next Tuesday in this scene. Making demands, telling them that they need to show him respect and call him commander. And I was like, bitch, please. They haven't even given him freedom yet, and she's already trying to cash in on it. Already trying to dictate terms. Already becoming Queen Serena of fucking... And Mark's like, why are you even staying with him? And she's like, I don't believe I have to tell you that. Now, does that mean is that the alluding to the fact that Fred might not even be the father of the child? I don't know. Will we ever know that question? Does it matter? Does Mark have an obvious chubby for her? Maybe we'll find out for sure in season 5. I do like the line about how the Old Testament sells better than the New Testament because vengeance sells, and that's true. I mean, it's true. The New Testament does have revelations though, but I guess the New Testament also has Jesus in it and all the this is how we make the world a better place. And in the Old Testament, it's all, you know, turning people into salt and fucking plagues of locusts and shit and killing the firstborn sons and all that. You know, that's a much more titillating read. So she's saying that a good mother would let this go. And I still think she's a good mother, and she still can't let it go. Because she can't let it go. Who would let it go? Would you let it go? I wouldn't let it go. If I found out that this happened to my sister, if this happened, and my sister was in it, and she escaped, and she told me all of this, I would never expect her to let this go. I would want to fucking go there and take care of business myself. I would burn down the world if anybody did something like that to my sister. So I'm not, it doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad mother because you want to have the people that did these things to you pay. It doesn't. But I understand the guilt, I guess. Because you've got this child that needs you. And you're plotting the demise of the people who wronged you. So I get why she would be like conflicted. Now when she goes to visit Fred, I thought maybe something was going to happen here. Him saying, I hold no ill will. Fuck you, Freddy boy. I hold no ill will because I knew you had... He's talking about how you had to frame it in front of the judge and your husband. As if she just... I don't want them to know that I fucked you because I wanted to. Like in his mind, him and Offred's relationship was consensual. He's so fucking deluded and sick that he thinks that she was just making him the villain so that she wouldn't look like a slut. He's understanding how she's framing rapes. Yep. And when he says, sorry for separating you from Hannah. If anybody did that to me, I'd be really upset. And, she's crying. She's crying. And I'd be crying too because I'd be in the room with this guy. I'm one of those people who rage cries. Like when I get really, really angry, I start to feel like crying. I feel like that's really what she's crying about, is that she's so upset. She is so enraged. She is so ready to fucking kill him right then and there that all she can do is cry. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I shouldn't have told you guys about rage crying. But, he still thinks of this as they're in a relationship, and trying to paint himself a victim in some ways, right? I miss Offred. And when she says she does too, but that she misses her strength, we know what she's talking about. The strength that Offred, the personality of Offred, had to get through all the horrible, horrible, horrible things that were done to her. And that when she leaves, she just tells Luke, who's like, I want a fucking beer. You want a fucking beer? She just goes, I'm going to put Fred on the wall. So she gets Mark to take a ride to see Lawrence. So Lawrence enters our story here. And they make a deal for Fred. And it's, of course, Lawrence, as as somebody put it in the comment section, and thank you for doing this, about he was like he wasn't the full on architect, but he was a big part of it. And here he is, and he can't help but be a dick. At least she corrects him, like, dude, stop being a dick. But they make a deal. Fred Waterford, for 22 of the people that they'd pursued, people of the resistance that they caught, that were presumed dead, they will take him for them. Now, for Fred, that would be a horrible, horrible thing, realizing that I'm being traded for a bunch of women. But it's so fitting. But this is how Lawrence has always helped. And he is a really interesting character. And they keep finding ways to use him. But he is still a fucking bastard. So they go to take it to the boss, and we wonder what the boss will say. And I was actually kind of feeling like we were going to get disappointed here. That the bosses were going to be like, no, the information's more important than some people that we don't even know. Let's say, they'd probably say, how do we even know they'll honor it? Well, Lawrence also says this won't be enough for you. Whatever you do to him is not going to be enough. And I mean, bringing down Gilead would probably do it. Now, they've had a lot of bad music in this season. No, I shouldn't say bad music. They've put music where it just doesn't need to be music. But I do want to bring up that in the background of the kitchen scene near the end with Moira, Luke, and June, they're playing Liz Phair's Mesmerizing from Exile in Guyville. And Liz Phair's Exile in Guyville is one of the best albums I've ever heard in my fucking life. Check it out wherever you watch music. Watch music. I guess you can watch music on YouTube. Wherever you listen to music, check out Liz Phair's Exile in Guyville. It is still an awesome, awesome album. Liz Phair rocks. From my area. I wish I could have seen her when I was a kid. So check that out. That song Mesmerizing is great. Much better choice in background music than the one that gets played all the time, even though it fits. But we've heard the whole, you don't owe me thing, and as much as it fits, it's only because I've heard it a million fucking times and things these days that I'm like, again, okay. Because again, it fits, but it's just, I preferred the Liz Phair song. So we know that he's going to be taken. He doesn't know he's going to be taken. And when Emily and her have that discussion of, I want him to know the fear, like when I was caught in the woods. And both Emily and June are ready for their revenge. They share that look, and shit's going to go down. Now, it was also pretty clear that things were going to go down when Serena and Fred are having their, like, oh, hey, I'm leaving. And that felt like they're never seeing each other again. And it felt like one of those scenes in a show where two characters are about to never see each other again, and one is completely not caring about the goodbye. Serena does not even fucking care, really. He's sitting there trying to look back like, hey, pay attention to me. I'm leaving to Geneva. And she's just doing her thing, which we have to get it. We'll talk about her in a second. But he's not going to Geneva. They take him into custody, and he does all the things. I'm a man. I have rights. And amidst June looking at Moira and Nicole and Luke through the window and basically saying goodbye to them, too. So Fred's leaving forever. And in a way, so is June. I mean, she's coming back, but not sticking around, it looks like. But Nicole has a good life. And she's got a father and kind of a mother in Moira. They were doing a good job with her before June got there, and they would continue to do a good job when she's not there. Now, whether or not that stays that way, I don't know. So Fred gets taken to the bridge. You know, they give him. He sees all the women going by, and he's just like, "Oh, you people are, you know." He starts bringing up God. Of course, you're going to be judged. It's like, oh God, these religious fucking fanatics who always try to throw God, who all believe that God's on their side when they're doing these horrible, horrible things. But it's, I mean, look, it's typical. How many people have died in the name of God? A lot of people. So many people. It's countless, right? Between all the years before modern, before right now, and even now. I mean, but these people, they never get tired of throwing God in people's faces, and it's like, but he won't apologize. Of course, he's like, I'm not going to apologize when it comes to Lawrence, but he doesn't have to worry about that. He's not going to have to worry about his apologies for too long because Nick shows up. And I actually have never been happier to see Nick in my life because now I realize what's really going on. Him and his eyes are going to take Fred into custody. And who does Nick like? Who does Nick probably have contact with right now? Well, we already know this. I'm just kind of being, dancing around it. But and Lawrence sitting there too, like, "Oops, sorry, hands are tied, bro." And Fred now knows that he's being sold out. He's being sold down the river by. He wasn't just sold out by the Canadian government. He wasn't just giving up, by Lawrence or Nick. It's all set up, and he doesn't. He still doesn't know. He still doesn't quite know. He thinks he's just being executed for Gilead stuff because, again, Fred's fucking nuts. He has this over a barrel is the line, actually. And he keeps calling Nick son. Son, son, son. You ever notice that? Religious people that call people son all the time. It's weird. Creepy. And he takes him out to no man's land. Says you reap, in so many words, he says you reap what you sow. June comes out of nowhere, like out of the over the hill with the light on her and everything, and it's scary for, it's kind of scary. But it's very well framed and very cinematic and very dun 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 as she walks up to Nick and kisses him, and Fred's sounding betrayed. This is sick. Man, if I was Fred, I'd have started running already. If I was a sick fuck like Fred, I'd have just been booking it. Like while they start, as soon as they kissed, man, I'd have been like, but no, because I just don't think he understands what's happening. Because these people never do. And he leaves. Nick bounces. And she gives him a choice, the gun or the whistle. I didn't know what she had in her other hand for a second. He's like, "Oh, I know you can't shoot me." And I wanted her to say, "Well, I can shoot you. Would you like me to?" And just like maybe shoot him in the arm or the leg or something. But like, she should have said, "No, I can totally shoot you, man. Like, I have no problem doing it whatsoever." But, you know, I think if she said that, though, it makes it a little less dramatic when she blows the whistle and the June army shows up and tells him to run. Like the little piggy that he is. Like the chase that happened to her when she was caught in the woods. And when they finally catch up to old Fred, they fucking beat him to death. And June takes her pound of flesh, literally, out of his face. So Fred's dead. And they just completely, when she pulls his head up like that and then takes the bite, like, just hold him up, like, just, it was crazy. And then the way that the lights all looked from above, really, really cool looking. I mean, it's the best looking scene of a person being beaten to death that I've ever seen. It's the most artistic. Now we got Serena, right? She's planning, she's getting ready for her Zoom call that never comes. And she gets her special package. Fred's finger and his wedding ring. And we don't see any more about what happens to Serena, but that's a message, I think. Not just about Fred, but for her. So, one down, one to go. plus everybody in Gilead that they can get. But I mean, honestly, I don't know how many people June really could get herself. But Serena's definitely, I mean, she's dangerous still. Let's just really be realistic. Serena's still dangerous. How dangerous, I don't know. We'll find out. But June comes home, holds Nicole, unburdened, even though she's getting blood all over the baby. And she says, "Just give me 5 minutes and I'll go." And we see that flash of him being hung, that he's hung there. And that's how the episode ends. And honestly, it almost could be an end to the series if there weren't still so many questions about Gilead and Janine and Esther and Lydia and Serena, and where does June go from here? If she's leaving, is it because she doesn't want to be there because somebody's going to be after her? Probably. I don't, I would assume that it's got to do with once they find out what happened to Fred, she'll be a wanted woman, and we'll just send her on the lam. And if that's the case, is this where June goes underground? And for season 5, we have maybe the time jump or something like that. I don't know. But it was a really, really incredibly powerful episode, and it really restored my faith in where the show is going. But with Fred dead, it does feel like we're starting to get towards finishing up the main story before we get to any spin-offs or anything else. So for once, it's starting to feel like the end is in sight. And for some people, that's not going to be good enough. They probably want this to go on for another 4 or 5 seasons. But story-wise, you got to know when to leave, man. Too many shows stick around too far when the story's over. So hopefully, however this goes, it does feel like they're getting close to finishing the main story. But we'll see. So anyway, I want to thank everybody again for watching all of these. I want to again, thanks for everybody for remembering and finding the channel again, and people that are discovering the channel again. I owe so much to you guys. You guys don't know. Like, seriously, it really means a lot. And I love you guys in the comment section. I love the fact that you guys listen to me and you allow me to be a voice that you want to hear. Because I know that there are tons of people that talk about this show. And there's people that talk about it so much more eloquently. And talk more about it like in a review style. And I'm more like, more visceral. More, fuck these motherfuckers. So, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the bell for all notifications. If you hated every single thing I said in this review and somehow through some weird-ass sick reason you decided to watch this whole thing and hate watch it, we can give you a better memory. So those of you who did like this, please look away or put some sunglasses on like I am, because we're going to give the people that hated this the last 39 minutes of their lives back. So let me just adjust my little thing here, and we'll give you guys a better memory. You just watched Fred get beaten to death for the second time, and it was still just as awesome as it was before you watch this review. So, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you in Season 5, and let me know what you want to watch next. Let me know what we should be talking about. Have a great night. Peace out, everybody. We might be doing a Season 4 retrospective. Keep an eye out for that as well. Bye.